Have faith. Let it begin. Hello, everyone. This is Angel, and this is another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. We want to welcome everyone to the show. We have welcomed all the new viewers and listeners across all the platforms. We want to welcome the Spotify family now coming in, and we welcome you to our show. Hit the subscribe button and download, our shows. It's always a helpful thing. And if you're on iTunes, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I want you to be honest. We want to start off by thanking GABBIE Santana for the use of our theme song. Have faith. I keep saying Have Faith, Let It Begin. Let's start that again. Thank you to GABBIE Santana for the use of our theme song, Tested. We thank you for everything you've brought to the show. GABBIE, you are a delight. I had to take a drink of water there, folks. Now, as you already saw the title of our show, it's called Coming Home. And the reason why I chose this is because, each and every day I usually record my episodes from the car going to work as a daily commuter. That's what our show is designed for. It's for the daily commuter. And I said, well, wait a minute. When's the last time I actually did a show about going home? I don't think I have ever done one. So I had to look and make sure. And I was like, I know I've never done going home. So here's this episode. After your long day at work, whether you've done an 8-hour shift, a 10-hour shift, a 12-hour shift, if you've been mandated and you've had to stay later than usual, if you're working the overnight and you're coming home during the daytime, it is the best feeling in the world. For some, I know some people that will tell me, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home to the kids. It's too noisy and oh my God and this and that. But for the most part, everybody comes home from work. And, whether you're commuting a long time, whether you're commuting a short distance, it's really your time to unwind. It's your time to prepare yourself to take off that jacket of work mode and to put on your family mode, to put on your home jacket. And we touched base on this last week, when we talked about leaving it at the door. Well, this kind of segues and picks up where that left off. When you leave it at the door, you start to go home. And when you go home, you have to put on a different hat, a different jacket. You have to put on that family hat. And the hardest thing to do sometimes is when you've had a bad day, you kind of want to come home and share that with a loved one. And it's okay. It's okay to do that. It's important. I know myself, prior to having the show where I did all the, recordings to and from work, there's times when I have a bad day, I would actually phone Rachel, my wife, and try to talk things out over the phone so that when I got home, we didn't have to talk about it anymore. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we both have bad days, so it's like who goes first. But I want to make sure that the first thing that I say, even if I haven't had a chance to call her on the way home, when I got home, I always say to my wife, hey, how was your day? And then, I make sure we talk about it. It's important because, we all have bad days, and we've had an episode called We All Had Bad Days. But, our spouses have had days too. So it's not always about us. It's about your spouse. So it's always good to say, hey, how was your day? Especially if they got home first. They've had time to unwind. So sometimes allowing you to hear that story will give you more time to unwind so that you can finally let out your frustrations if you have any. The hardest thing too is coming home to a messy home or a messy, dishes in the sink, or sometimes you get home, you're hungry, and maybe dinner hasn't been made. Not that I expect, spouses to have dinner on the table when you get home. I mean, I'm 40, but I'm not that old-fashioned. I know that it's a team effort. That's how my wife and I do it. When she's home and had a day off, she usually cooks for me, and when I'm home and she gets home, I cook for her. But it's getting together. It's communicating with your wife, your husband, and saying, how was your day? anything I can do for you? What's on the agenda for tonight? Do you want to do something? You want to maybe go out for a walk? We take the dog out? Do you want to walk the dog? Hey, maybe you want to have dinner here. Maybe we'll go get some ice cream, or maybe we can go out and get some dessert. You know what I mean? Or, hey, if there's a couple of errands that you may want to run just to get you out of the house, to get you in that moment. Don't get me wrong. Some of us want to come home and they just want to go to sleep, take a nap, or maybe just unwind in different ways. But the key to all this topic of this episode is really to communicate and share with that person the kind of day you've had. It's important. It's vital to, in a relationship, to share with somebody. Now, there are some of you out there that have told me, I'm single. I come home to no one. And you know what? That's okay. Because there's sometimes I talk to my friends. Some of my friends are single, and I call them and I do the same thing. On my commute home. If you're not a person that wants to commute with your spouse on the way home, maybe call your friend that's either on their way home too, or they've been home, and say, hey, how was your day? And you can relate with that person. But the frustrations and the anger, you don't want to bring that home. You want to leave it at that door. You want to be able to drive home and come home in the best attitude that you can, because now you're in a different time. You're in a different moment. You're in a different environment. And home should be where your heart is. Home should be where you feel comfortable, where you can actually, talk to somebody, to be with that person and say, hey, oh my God, there's no place like home. Not to throw a cliche, but it's just no place like it. So, as you're going home today, if you've had a bad day, sometimes it doesn't hurt to say a prayer. Sometimes it doesn't, it's not a bad thing to say to yourself, you know what, God, I've had such a bad day. I can't wait to get home so that when I get home, I can say to myself, you know what, this is going to be a good day. This is going to be a good ending to a bad situation. So, as you're driving home right now, if you've had a bad day, and if it's a Friday and your weekend is just upon you, and that, that bad day has come to an end and your weekend is about to start, leave it at the door, and share it with your wife, maybe on a Sunday. If it's something that's so bad, if you find yourself in a bad situation where, let's just say hypothetically, you feel that you don't want to share it because it may ruin the weekend, well, it's going to ruin the weekend regardless if you choose to hold it in. Because by the time Sunday comes, if something else frustrates you, it's going to put you in a position to ignite some type of a fight. Something could just trigger you, and all that frustration that you held in, that you could have easily let out prior to getting home, or just when you get home, let it go away so that you can concentrate on the good time, the good evening, the good weekend that's ahead of you. So that's my challenge to all of you. If you're driving home and you've had a rough day, and you've already heard the show this morning, maybe play it over again on the way home and hear what we have to say, so that you can prepare yourself to get home, so that you can prepare yourself to be in the right frame of mind. And I believe in that. I believe that is the most important thing that you'll ever encounter. So that's where I'm going to leave you. I'm going to share that with you. And I hope that you have had an amazing week. I hope that you have had a great day. And if you haven't, if you've had a bad day, if you've had a bad week, let me say this. I pray that your weekend is filled with joy. I pray that your weekend is filled with laughter, that is filled with such high energy, and that you're able to be at peace. Because that's all I ever want for each and every one of you. Have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and remember, have faith, let it begin. Hello everyone, this is Angel, and I hope you enjoyed this week's topics and stories of Have Faith, Let It Begin. I want to remind you that as the week may be over and and the weekend is upon us. Don't forget, we are back on the air on September 24th at 6 a.m. with all new topics, all new episodes. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for reaching over 70 episodes and concluding this week with 71. I am honored and privileged to come into your home each and every week and look forward to starting a brand new week this Monday, September 24th. For Have Faith, Let It Begin, my name is Angel. God bless you and have a great weekend.